I'm so happy to be here before you. My name is Eliseo Santana. I've been a member of this congregation for over 20 years now. I remember coming in through them doors seeking a place for some serenity, for some spirituality, for some peace in my heart. And I was a troubled individual. And I walked in, and my first reaction was, wow. I was so amazed by this edifice. And I sat down, and now I am amazed at not just the edifice, but the people, all of us that are here that make this place a home. My daughter, I have 3 daughters and 1 son. My daughter told me last night, "Pops, you better get some highlights." So I initially rejected. I said, I'm used to speaking, but I went ahead and made some. So if you see me pause and look down, it's because I want to follow directions. My speech is more of trying to have you get to know me. I think that it's so important in a relationship between one person and another that we understand where the other person is coming from. And I see it as my own responsibility to ensure that you are aware of what it is that drives me, what is it that makes me move, but do it in a way that is not intrusive. And so I welcome this opportunity that I'm able to let all of you know at one time. I guess it's titled Spirituality and Serenity, My UU Way. I think it's important to start with my philosophy of life. I find that I am guided by the principle of acting out of love, and let my actions be that to be of service to others. And when I act out of love, and I find that no matter what the outcome is, I am okay with it. And the dictionary defines love because I want to act out of love, but I need to know what love is because there's so many different ways. Each and every one of us has a way of identifying with love, that energy, that source of power that is so central to my well-being. And I will read here, it says that the being in mutual growth, support, and respect and understanding, investing in others' happiness and well-being, accepting true love means accepting others' imperfections and loving the whole person, flaws and all. I have to say that in my experience of life, I have found that many of the actions that I have taken have been so to protect myself. As a child, I was a very loving individual, very giving. I'm the type of person that will go and I wanted to hug everybody, you know, and being born and living in the inner city, that was not a good outcome. I found that I had to change my outward behavior to protect my inward self. And so I discovered that fear is a strong force, a strong motivator. And by being fearful of what can happen to me, I changed my loving, outward, embracing self into being somebody that had an outward appearance of, don't mess with me. And that changed my whole dynamics of life. So as I go through life, I discovered that I can get people to react. You know, fear is something interesting because when fear can get people to react quickly, quickly. And so that is a tool that is abused. Let me say that our being of human, our evolution as a human has taken place simply because we have been able to protect ourselves, taking actions. Our ancestors, the cavemen and women, if you may, had a built-in situation, and when they encountered a saber-toothed tiger or some kind of a predator that would feast on them, the immediate action of that fear gave them this rush of adrenaline, this chemical reaction that changed their body and transformed a mere person into a superhuman, ready to fight, ready to run, ready to take some action to protect themselves. And so the physiological change that happens when that is there and you have that adrenaline rush into you is like your muscles get ready, your body is ready to take some action. You get this unusual strength. You have this feeling that you have to take immediate action. And that comes with a deficit. In order for your body to go through that process, it deprives the frontal lobes, the part that is logical thinking, out of oxygen. That is taken out and is put into that keep me alive instinct. And let me tell you, it worked well. Look around you. We have billions of people in this world. So that instinct actually kept humanity going. And for the longest time, what I have found in my life is that I don't think I run into a saber-toothed tiger that often. I need to have that rush of energy and that depriving of my logic in order to feed the rest of my body to be able to overcome that threat. But I have not developed, humanity has not developed into the community that we have now, which is fairly a safe environment. Look around you. You're sitting in a place that you're safe. You're okay. And that usually is where we're at work, at home, as we travel, we're in a safe environment. But yet, when a situation happens that we may consider minor, somebody steps on my toe, or I'm driving on US 19, this happened the other day, and somebody cuts me off because they're in a hurry, and I perceive these things in fear, as a danger. And suddenly, without me knowing it, that instinct of self-preservation kicks in, and I have this adrenaline rush, and suddenly I no longer am thinking logically. I'm now in a motion of trying to defend my life. And my actions then are much, much different. I find that I tap into this fear, and that drives me into overacting. If I allow myself to take action when these things happen, this has been my experience, maybe you have a different experience, but every action that I've taken from that turns out to be a negative, something that the fruits of it are not going to be good. If I am, because my next reaction when they cut me off on 19 was, I'm gonna get them, I'm suddenly I want to put the pedal to the gas, and I want to become aggressive. And why? That individual may be in a medical emergency, or maybe going through something that requires them to be there, or maybe something happened that triggered them. Like I was suddenly triggered, and they went into that emotional being. I think that it is important for me to realize that I am a human, and these chemical reactions affect my actions and my well-being. I have found that when I go back to acting out of love, and that my actions be of service to others. I need to be able to bring that. When I do that, I'm in a sense of well-being. I have peace in my heart. I have serenity. Those around me have peace and serenity. And so when I see this chemical reaction that happens, I have several things that I do. There's a lot of tools out there. I usually take a deep breath, just let it go. And often that neutralizes that. And then I have a thought in my mind like, may God keep you safe in your travels. May you get to where you're going safely. I wish something good on others. And that changes my reactions. I think that one of the things that ties me in this world is my earliest recollection of my religious orientation, my childhood orientation, were there to protect me. And there again, it's to keep humanity going, but they tapped into fear. I was, from my earliest recollection, taught that if I do not do the right thing, I am going to be severely punished. Not just for the moment, but for eternity. And there was another thing there, which was the incentive, which is if I do the right thing, I am going to be rewarded forever. So that is an effective way of controlling our children and our society by giving them the threat and the carrot and the stick, if you may. But I have found that for me as an adult, it does not work. It's not an effective continuum, because if I am doing my actions based on a fear, the outcome is not going to be good. So I have to come back to reality of what is love, to tap into that energy field that is so powerful that guides me, which is love. And when I do that, when I tap into love, which is basically me being more concerned about your well-being than mine. That doesn't mean I'm going to take actions that are going to be against my own self, but it means that I'm not going to act in a selfish, self-centered way. Because by acting in a selfish, self-centered way, I am feeding that fear. I am afraid of something that will be coming in the future, so I have to take actions now to protect myself. So I hoard. I look after my interests and not after yours. I have found that love gives me the energy of being able to be who I am. Be that young man that wanted to hug people and wanted to smile and be a friend. That had to change my ways because of fear. So what happened when I walked into this edifice looking for peace, looking for something to get me out of that, I want to say misery of life, but that's not a true statement. Just living in a doomed environment, because all of my actions were based on protecting myself because I was in fear. When I walked in here, not knowing exactly what I wanted and how to get it, but I knew I needed help, and I saw this place and said, wow. And I listened to the person that was speaking, and they spoke to me in ways that I could understand, that touched me in the heart, things that I could use. And I stayed here and I discovered I was a Unitarian Universalist. I am a UU. I didn't even know it. This is the amazement of our religion, is that we do not convert anybody. People discover this is who they are. And when I did that and I opened up, I was taught how to tap in on love as my source of energy. How to recognize. First, I had to recognize that I was acting out of fear, and I had to name them. What are these fears that I had? Because if you can name them, there are tools there to neutralize them. And if I'm aware of them and I have tools to neutralize them and I use them and I come back to love as my source, then I find that all those that are around me also smile. I am not a source of, I'm not a source of problems, but I'm a source of hope. My daughter last night reminded me as I was talking to her about this. She said, Pops, it's not just that you have this sense of serenity because of tapping into love and making sure that my actions are based on being of service to others. It's not just you feeling this sense of serenity, but it has transferred to my children. This is my daughter saying, said it transferred to my grandchildren, many of which you have seen, and you see there were 2 of them here this morning. It says that by giving them permission to act out of love and to be who they are truly, they are able to smile and live a whole life. When we teach to be in fear, that you have to act because you have to be afraid, and in order to control their behavior, we have to tap into that energy force, then we're not in a good place. I am creating what created me. So I'm here to tell you that we have an unusual ability of breaking the chains of that made us be fearful and act and be a source of issues for others. We can break that chain, and that's what you has done for me. It has taught me to be me. It has taught me to identify those sources that drive me and to tap into love. And that my actions be that to help and be of service to others. And when we do that, it doesn't make a difference what your religious background is, whether you believe in one God, many gods, no gods. It does not make a difference as long as you tap into that inner source of energy, which is love. And when we do that, we change the world. Thank you.